Hello everyone, I'm Nicholas Berryman, and on behalf of the Marine Industry School Pathways program, I'll be doing a series of videos on making PCBs with this Carvey here. The Marine Industry School Pathways program is supported by the Department of Defence, and as such works to develop links between defence industries and the schools of Western Australia. So the first thing we're going to do is look at installing and setting up the necessary components for making, again, one of these printed circuit boards. Now, the first piece of software we're going to install is Autodesk Eagle, and I've included a link in the description. So, when you're on this page, you're going to download, select the download option for your platform, in this case Mac, and wait for that to download. Now, in my case, I've already downloaded that, so I'll go to where it downloaded and run it. Yeah, it takes a few seconds to load up. So here we go, just going to go through the standard installation procedure, just agree to everything. In this case I'm just going to install for me, but that's up to you. And assuming you have enough space on your computer, select install. And the install process on Windows will be slightly different, but it'll follow the same sort of procedure. So you should be fine following this. So once this installation is complete, you're free to close the prompt and have a look, make sure it's installed. In this case, I'll just do a search for Eagle, and I have something showing up. I can open that up, give it a few seconds to open. You should see this nice splash screen as it loads. And you'll reach this sign-in screen. So you'll need to make, if you don't have an account, you'll need to make an Autodesk account. But for now, as we know it works, we're just going to put it to the side and install the next components and download the next components. In this case, we'll be looking at PCB G-code, which is a plugin for Autodesk Eagle that generates the code needed for the Carvey to actually cut out the boards once you've signed them. So again, I've included a link. You reach this page and just download the top selection. We'll wait for that to download. And in my case, again, I've already downloaded it, so I'll just have a look at the folder, and it should have these files in it. Yeah. If you're seeing that, it's installed correctly. And then we're just going to put it somewhere we'll remember where it is. In this case, we'll just leave it on the desktop. So, back to our Autodesk Eagle, we're going to sign in. Just enter your email and then your password. And once that's done, it'll close for a second before it opens up this easel control panel. Now, it is important to note that when you're logging in, you do need to have internet access. So once you see this control panel, we're going to have a look. You should see then on Mac at the top, you'll see the file, view, options, etc. menus, and on Windows that will be around here on the control panel. Now, once you've got this done, all you need to do is have a look at your directories under the options menu, and you should see user language programs, or ULP basically. You're going to click that text box, select the browse button, wait for that to open up of course, and then find wherever you saved PCB G-code to. So I suggest you save it to the documents folder, but in this case I've saved it to the desktop folder. So you select that folder, select open, and that will save it to this ULP thing here, as we see. Press OK, and that should install PCB G-code into Eagle. Now we're just going to do a quick test here and do the actual setup for it. In this case, we go to File, New, Project. We're going to give this project a name, and in this case I'll just use test project. There we go. Then we're going to right click that, select New Board. So again, this is just a test, and you'll see this little option here which says ULP, and up here you'll see different directories. So we'll select ULP directory, we'll click that and select PCB code as we selected before. There'll be two options here. You can just drag out the name and you'll see there's PCB code and PCB code setup. Now PCB code is for actually making the boards once you've designed them, and PCB code setup is used for doing the setup, of course. So click that, select OK, and you'll see this menu. There's a bunch of G-code profiles here. Now that doesn't really matter, just select the one that says try to be very compatible and accept. Just click yes wherever this comes up, and we'll get to this main menu. Now this is the every time you open PCB G-code setup, this is the menu you'll see from now on. There's a bunch of options here. In this case, you'll see generation options, machine, G-code style, etc. The ones you care about most are generation options and machine. Under generation options, to get it to work properly, we want to select isolation single pass. And what this does is it tells it that when it does these little isolation cuts on our PCB, may be a bit difficult to see, but when it cuts that, it just goes over it once rather than going over it several times, and that just makes it much faster without really sacrificing much quality. Then under the machine options, we can see there's all these Z high, Z up, etc. We're going to, first of all, because we live in Australia, select millimetres, because we can work with those. And then we're going to set up these various parameters. Now the Z high should be higher than all the clamps and stuff in your Carvey. Now, in this case, we're just going to select, say, 30 millimetres, and that should be fine. If you need to make sure it's high enough, and you'll see that later. The Z up just needs to be high enough that it's not cutting into the board. So we might say 2 millimetres, and that's just high enough that it's 2 millimetres above the board and therefore not cutting it. Then we have our Z down, which is how deep it cuts into the board, and for now we'll just say 0.1. The drill depth, that's how far it cuts when it drills. You might say 3 millimetres for now, and the rest of it doesn't really matter. We can just save that. So we'll save that. So once that's done, we'll just click accept, and that's the basic setup you need to PCB G-code. And when you go to cutting the board, we might make some small modifications, but that's the basic stuff that you need. So that's more or less it for that. The last thing we're going to check is easel, and that's just an online form. So again, just follow the link in the description to easel.inventables.com, and just log in, and you'll be able to make sure that works. So that should be it for today.